It's EVE Online 2020, June 5th. I am Matterall. There's some interesting people in channel today. Billy is here. And we also have Sully. You'll know his name soon if you don't already. And Garrett Goran, how are you?
All right, how are you?
Good. Okay, let's jump into the status monitor and check out current PCU is 30,622. Looks like a high of 35,200 within the last 24 hours and a low of 19,000 right around there. Looks like there was one drop off here at about 2,200. Not sure what that represents. Could be this site just didn't get the recording of the data. Moving on. Dotlan statistics. It's a tool that we use to see where the most violent systems are, among other things. It's also a mapping tool and a tool for calculating navigations and seeing what alliances hold the most territory and seeing where faction war is as far as system status, etc., etc. But we use it for most violent systems in EVE Online. Today's most violent systems from the last 24 hours are going by regions in Empire space. Lone Trek had 2,671 ships destroyed. Forge, 2,350, and Domain, 2,664. Again, the Forge has more capsules being destroyed than Domain, and that makes it second place instead of third. In Nullsec, Delve had 1,584 ship destructions. Catch, 1,043. And Ethereum Reach, 724. Most violent actual systems. First place is Delve, 1DQ, 210. Not very much, actually, in 24 hours. Ethereum Reach comes in second. That system is LXQ. And in third place, in Venal, K3J at 98 ships destroyed. Not all that much. Most violent systems in LowSec. Black Rise region, the system name is iHUB, 400 ships destroyed. And Tama is in second place this week, or actually today. That's the Citadel region, 268. And finally, in the Metropolis region, Asset. Again, we've been seeing Asset pop up a lot. 275 ships destroyed. Most violent systems in HiSec. Veil comes in first, and that is interesting. There's another Triglavian invasion in that system. That is in Essence. So Veil, not Veil of the Silent, but Veil, the system. 848 ships destroyed. Topping the list. In second place is Jita of the Forge, 423. And in third place, Niarja, 584 ships destroyed. Looks like United Federation of Conifers lost four systems and picked up 4. And let's see who these guys lost. United Earth Directorate, working out Aquarius. I don't know if they're calling it quits. Oh no, they picked up 17 systems. I thought they lost 17. So they put down a bunch of TCUs, it looks like. All right, I don't see anything that changed since yesterday, so if you want more information on Alliance movements, solved changes, check out the last few episodes at the beginning. Going to kills now that are over 10 billion in the last 24 hours. Get Off My Lawn loses a Rorqual and Aquarius. An NPC player, Hikosira Otsada, lost a Tira. That's a hauler, I believe, in Delve. 27 billion. Let's have a quick look at that. This is Volta that took it out. And it is an industrial. This means it's all in the cargo. It's not a T2 industrial, so that means it was carrying, oh my God, quite a bit. This is just an industrial T1. For it to get snagged like this means what we have discovered is we've seen some really odd kill mails of very inexpensive ships carrying incredibly expensive cargo, like a ton of blueprints in corvettes, which are even smaller than frigates. And that is people picking up loot, trying to rush out of wherever it's picked up and getting blown up in the process. And this may be similar. We don't know. But this was $25.5 billion in cargo for this T1 industrial.
Looks like the pilot lost a paladin around the same time if you go to related kills. So I wonder if it's the pilot was trying to loot from whatever he was using the paladin for.
Which could it have been taking down a structure? Can you do it with a paladin?
It could have been the pilot's assets inside the structure, and they killed them without scoop.
Yeah, so if you look at the pilot's history and go through it, the likelihood is this is a former member of Goon Swarm. They last logged in, looks like April 2018. My guess is there's a structure kill that we can't see, and whatever structure that happened from, both the Paladin and Tyra that were killed came out of. And then Volta, not really realizing what they were doing, shot and killed the Tyra and the Paladin. And we get the kill mails we see from that.
And got a payday. Okay.
Yeah, I've used T1 haulers as equivalent to stationed containers before, so that might be what this was for.
Well, that's almost absolutely what it is, right? So you got somebody who hasn't logged in for 2 years. This is all ratting loot, right? So it looks like they had a paladin that they used to, and then they stored it all in this Tyra in whatever citadel got blown up, and Volta comes around, they blow up the structure. They're like, oh, it's just a terror. Oh, we'll blow that up, and they 1/3 of their possible jackpot.
They shot too quickly, possibly. That sounds like a reasonable scenario, though. I see what you're saying. So the paladin was in the structure probably for looting, for running missions, and this is the loot from those missions that it ran over time, and you just stored it all in a ship. And I think, though, if you were to store it in your cargo, it would have gotten asset safetied in normal circumstances. If you store it in a ship, I'm not sure what happens to it. Was it still asset safetied?
The ship would be asset safety like anything else.
Okay, so it doesn't matter. It's just a way of containing it. I do that as well. I have a freighter that I filled with freighter crates, basically, freighter containers. And each of those has 1,000 blueprints, because that way I can fit like 10,000 blueprints in a single ship, as opposed to running out of room in my inventory or having a ton of different containers everywhere. So this is something that people can often do or can do. Maybe not a best practice. Okay, let's go on to Goon Swarm losing an Asbel and Delve ITAC E. Wonder what happened there. Maybe fell through the cracks. A Tartara taken out in domain.
Abandoned structures, man. Just abandoned structures.
Abandoned structures, right? Lose track of it. Suddenly spaceships lost a Nomad. That's a jump freighter in Amatar. It's about right for a jump freighter. Totalis Excra, we'll just call it Excram. I'm not going to read that whole thing. Asbel, taken out in domain. Same system as the one before. So they had two structures there, an Asbel and a Tatara taken out. Looks like Jita Holding Company is the one taking those out. Arataru, worth 13 billion, lost by Guardians of Eternal Circle. That's in Lone Trek. Goonswarm losing another Asbel and Delve and QX TAC. Patriots loses a Nyx in Innsmother. What are Nyx's up to, Billy, price wise? Do you know?
Somewhere between 18 and 20 mil, or 18 and 20 bill. Sorry.
Yeah, and
Depends on what they're fitted with, the rigs, etc.
Yeah, this one was 24 billion, so it's not much more over the hull price. It was killed by Ricochet Incorporated. Goonswarm losing another Asbel and Delve SVM, taken out by Pandemic Legion. And Zodiac Syndicate losing an Asbel and J Space to Resida Regnum. And then finally, Goonswarm Federation losing, I think we covered this yesterday, a RIA worth 18 billion in JGAMP. That's Tribute. It was taken out by, looks like Rote Capel or Roteworks, whatever that is. All right, those are the kills over 10 billion, just for fun. Gonna look at over 5 billion. See if there's some interesting stuff in here. Leshek worth 5.3 billion.
Well, at this point, the big fight of the night last night was the iHUB Dreadbomb.
Yeah, I was wondering if that timer would escalate into people from outside the area showing up, and I was kind of hoping it would stay smaller scale, but that I didn't have any control over that, and it did.
I don't see any dreads from there. Give me a second just to go through the 5 billion and up. Not like not in detail, but I'm just looking for interesting out of whack destruction. And the Arcader for 6 billion, Leshak for 5 billion. Pod over 5 billion. He's probably had some expensive implants in there. Goonswarm losing a capsule in Delve for 8 billion. I guess that's it. Most of them are actually over 10 billion. Well, here's a rash of 5 billion and between 5 and 10 billion. And it looks like structures. Here's one Nagelfar in J Space. Reitaru. Oh, I know this name. iHUB 3. Losing it in Citadel. Why do I know that name? And that's it. Okay, so let's go to that fight that you're talking about. What system was it?
iHUB.
Yeah, if you check the battle reports channel in Discord, Pittsburgh, who was one of the FCs in the NC Horde fleet, linked to battle report.
Oh, is that Derelict or I'll grab it. 1 second. We have a channel called Your Battle Reports, and you're free to post battle reports with a small explanation. We don't accept just links because you have to do some explaining so that people can understand what they're going to click on if they click on it. It's not supposed to be any conversation. It's just supposed to be links with a TLDR. And here's one from Pittsburgh. Thanks, Pittsburgh, first of all, for putting it in there in writing. He says, large fight in iHUB over final timer on Astra House. Wangs, which I think his pen is out, got baited into using capitals and got a hammer from Dreadbomb, which I believe is Pittsburgh's. No, it's Sido's.
Sido. Pittsburgh and NC.
NC and PH.
Yeah. I think Dreadbomb was there first, and then NC and Horde formed a Ferox fleet and a Dread fleet, and Wrecking Crew showed up with Tengus, and it was defended by a Macario fleet and Dreads. Oh, and a bunch of low-sec guys who were the people who initially reinforced it showed up in a Cerberus fleet. Know Nothings and dock workers and a few others in that.
Cool. The total value lost here is total ships lost 152. Total players involved 575. ISK loss was 240 billion. Ouch, that's big.
Yeah, it was over Valor Accords final timer, and I'd been wondering if it would escalate to people from outside the local area showing up, since a few of their timers uh, had goon swarms showing up previously. So I think that is probably one of the things that PanFan was interested in. Like, the armor timer had goon swarms showing up, but not in time to save it. And I believe that they actually hold the SOV where the goon swarm deployment F7C is staging from. So I think even though they're not affiliated with the Imperium, they might have some sort of arrangements. And I
Yeah.
think that might be they were trying to bait out.
Well, and this was 12 hours ago. That would put it kind of in deep US time zone. The payday was about 550 billion ISK. That's far less than the 240 that was lost. By the way, not that it matters. Cool. So this is NC Dot, Dreadbomb, and Pandemic Horde taking on Valor Accords and Wangs, or Pen is out. All right, thanks for pulling that one up. Let's look at timers. Anything else that's interesting in the iHUB timer section here? Test has something in catch. Billy, some of these are false alarms, right? I mean, is anything going to happen?
Yeah, they're
there?
literally just SOV transfers or a variety of things. Like, there's no real war on test iHubs going on right now. So anytime you see a test iHub there, it's likely just transfers or just a random troll to.
You can't trade these; you have to destroy them. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, but there is stuff
We
going.
can self-destruct them actually, but
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if I knew that. I thought there was. Yeah, that makes sense, but I wasn't 100% sure on that. Federation of Alliance of Mafias. Haven't heard of them. They are in Vale of the Silent. There is
That's
activity up there. Say again?
That is Brand New Bros, and I believe Galactic Mafia is the other corp in the Alliance, which is former Brand New Bros people who went off to do their own thing, and I guess when Brand New Bros started their own alliance, they reunited.
Oh, cool. They're contesting in Vale. We have like 12 groups up there. What else we have here? And by the way, Gur, do you know what's going on in Vale? We should get on top of that.
Really.
Yeah, we'll talk to a couple people from Vale maybe this Sunday. Find out what the latest is with their conflict, because it is heating up there. And there's always been a lot of activity, but there's more than usual lately. All right, and I don't see anything else in here. There's a couple of Vale iHubs we should probably look at some point. All right, so thanks for the battle in iHUB. It's good to check that out. And now, if I can, I want to talk about. We have Sully here. We're going to talk to him this Sunday, I believe. And Sully is well known as one of the big winners in this new abandoned or forsaken structures patch that's come out. Can you just introduce yourself, Sully?
Hello. So yeah, I was part of the group that killed the one with 23 T2 BPOs and a can containing 220 billion in material. It's kind of very lucky. Didn't expect that at all when we started, to be fair. When we was talking about it, waiting for the timers, we said about 50 billion would be a good haul for 18 plus war decks and structures. So, in fact, we got very lucky there.
Can I ask your
And-
actual character name? Is that public?
There's a sale thread on the forums with the T2 BPOs, so it's Shiren Calder. So, but at some point you should have been able to see the forum thread if you were looking for the T2 BPO.
No, I was looking for your actual name so I could bring up your character. If you want it to be public, if not, that's
Yeah.
okay.
It's posted on the forums.
But what's your
IM
what's your
it.
character name so I can type it into this search?
I just IM'd it to you.
Oh, thanks. It's okay to make that public?
Yeah.
Most lottery winners want to stay anonymous for obvious reasons. This was not a lottery.
One of 12 accounts, so
So you're safe. Yeah. Now, what? Again, you're going to talk about this on Sunday, and we'll get into more details and stuff like that. But I just want to clarify: there was a group of you.
yeah. So originally I did the scout work, looking at which targets to hit in various regions, and after the first couple, so it was me and one friend originally, but after the first couple, we realised with the cans being suspect when you try and loot them, the prospect as well of looters coming to try and steal from all these cans, because there was at one point, I think we've had a structure drop 50 of them. We needed more people to help with the looting process, so I had a couple more people come in from Corp, just to help making the looting and securement of the loot easier.
Yeah. And are you able to? Well, now you've got all this loot that dropped. It's not ISK, it's loot, so you have to sell it in order to cash it in or use it for some other purpose. What are your intentions?
With the BBOs, quite a large majority of them have sold. There are some that we're looking to keep internally in the group and things like that, but a large majority of the stuff is being sold or being put to stockpile for use, like the production loot, for example, that was in the structure. We're just going to keep a hold of that and use it for various things.
Wild. You're not the only one with a big payday, though. Billy, have you run across anything interesting out there? Are you even smashing?
Not particularly, no.
Are you smashing any of these abandoned structures?
I've been with PBD and seen them do a couple, but nothing like crazy paydays, like 5-10 bills sometimes, but nothing.
Nothing like Sully there, because Sully's this has got to be the
I'm
biggest.
pretty sure Sully's the only one with a truly big payday.
Well, I think I'll probably just keep his name silent, but somebody told me they scored upwards of 800 billion on one kill.
Right.
It's one of the first
You're
ones.
talking about the Elise tweet?
Yeah. Okay, he tweeted it. Okay. Yeah, at least.
Well, it was only 400, and yeah, I mean, it was a good haul. Absolutely.
Was it 400? Okay, I thought it was 800. But nothing compares to what Sully and his group was able to do, because I believe that's maybe the biggest drop in history, isn't it?
More than likely, yeah.
I mean, loot-wise, yeah, for sure. But even maybe one of the biggest paydays, aside from a heist, that I can think of.
It's bigger than any heist I've ever heard of.
The biggest heist I've heard of was 1.2 trillion.
This is like 4 trill, which
it is bigger.
50, 60 grand, right? So.
Well, I think the judge won't say how much he stole from CO2.
The judge didn't get much.
Well, he hasn't said, so okay. I don't know if he did or didn't.
But CO2 wasn't some like hyper prosperous like Alliance income level group. Like I'm sure he maybe made off with some hundreds bill, but like not trillion.
Man, how does it feel, Sully, when you discovered all that? It literally must be like finding a pirate's treasure 200 years later. I could just see you opening the box and your face lighting up gold, and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah. When my friend first said that he's got a BPOs, and he read some of them out. And I was like, hang on, that's all T2. I kind of didn't believe him and thought he was just confused with BPCs because he wasn't a real industrialist, so he never really looked at blueprints in his EVE career. And yeah, the fact that I was expecting 1 or 2 and we ended up with 23 was a real shock. I personally thought that Raitao was an invention, and production of invention wouldn't have clocked at all anything T2 production in BPO wise.
Sorry, I was just writing to someone who I couldn't write to in super bad manner, so I was typing over what you were saying. So
you ruined the moment, Matt.
I
You
totally
got good
did.
shit.
I totally did amateur hour, but it was Hilmar I was writing to, so I couldn't not write back. But real quick,
The name drop. Jeepers.
yeah, I have to because people have to know what I would sacrifice this moment to. It was, but
Unacceptable. So you jacked like the biggest like load in history, right? Like literally 4 trillion ISK worth. How many ways you splitting it? Let's talk real.
yeah, who do you kill? What gang members get shot and buried with the disc
No.
drives?
How many guys you splitting? How many ways you splitting? 40, 10, 20?
7.
7
And
ways. So 600
scout-
bill a person. Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a nice
The
drop.
scout, so because I'm handling a lot of the loot as well, hence why I've got the sale up. I'm getting a little bit more in terms of just the hassle it is moving that stuff.
So can I expect the Razor Komodo fleet to increase by 5 tomorrow? Like, is that?
I did make a joke that if I earn enough to buy a Komodo from this, that I would force myself to buy one. And I'm kind of going back
Mission
on my word on that
accomplished.
because I'm not I'm not buying a Komodo. It's just too much at the moment. Maybe if they come down a bit in price, if they're
Too
equal to a
much.
Vanquisher,
Too much
I
for
might.
what? You just made 700 brill, bro. That's a
Don't let the boss intimidate you.
disappointed. Disappointed.
I mean,
Yeah.
do you reckon, do you ever see me using that on a Razor fleet?
No, but like, I don't know. You just made like that. That's what people always want to hear about lottery winners. Is like, oh, you just made this much money. What do you spend it on? Like, because people want to enjoy they want to live vicariously through you, right? They want to enjoy your spoils. So like, obviously, you can't just go to like Jita and like, spend it all on like strippers
Yeah.
and
Oh, I'm paying for college for
exotic
my
dancers,
kids.
male and female kind of thing, right? But
Yeah, unfortunately, my lottery story is going to be quite a sad one because a lot of it is going into investments. Because otherwise, the main reason I didn't want it just sat in a big ISK wallet is ISK itself is a lot different than it was 5-10 years ago. Plex has really changed that, and chip prices have really changed that. I remember when I
so
first started the game, Titans were 100 billion just for a hull, and now it's 50 to 60 for a hull.
It's going up.
So are we expecting to see some new Razor Keepstars then? Maybe another Corp one? Like,
Are you going to be wearing gold
You know.
chains? Like,
I don't know. I might buy a monocle.
like a gold monocle?
Something like that, yeah.
now we're talking. Anybody have a ship skin fetish that needs?
Actually, yeah. Like, do you want to buy some skins? I'll sell you whatever you want.
Now you found my weakness.
Oh, okay. Now we see
We'll
what
chat.
you-
Oh, like, if you're actually serious, we'll chat later.
Apparently, Billy
I
is
do.
quite a collector.
Yeah.
Have you not seen my
I-
collection? It's fucking crazy.
I know Billy's quite a collector from recent chats, but yeah, it is tempting with shipskins. I may have to see.
Now, I don't know if you were like a middle class miner or something, but how big a change is this wealth wise for you?
It's probably taken just from my cut. It's increased my wealth about 4 times its value. I'd probably put my wealth in ISK assets around about 150 to 200 billion before.
Not
So
bad.
it's taken me over the 1T mark for personal stuff.
How about some of your other crew members? Do you know if any of them were like poppers?
Yeah, some of them, it's been quite a drastic increase in their wealth, up to about 10 times.
Did they just like win Eve?
That is the message I keep getting posted around. This morning I was greeted to log into Corp Chat of, he's not an idiot, he just won Eve.
Well, I mean, a 600 billion payday for you alone is, it's quite an exhilarating feeling. I think they're going to be, you know, walking with a little hop in their step for at least a week, 6 months. Especially depends on how much it turned your fortunes around, and if you were working for something towards something. But it sounds like you were pretty well set up anyway. And what I can't believe is you're splitting it up fairly. Like, hats off. Like, why would you do that?
That's such a terrible thing to say, man. It's like,
No.
I can't believe you're not like screwing your boys. What are you doing?
Dude, so many times we've heard the story of people who are like, thanks guys, see you later. I'm going to Disneyland. But it's nice to see. The only people I know that have done that are you and Dirk McGurk, who come into a massive fortune and say, I'm splitting it up among my guys.
Yeah, I mean, these group of guys I've been playing with, I've been playing with them as a group for various different corps for over a decade, so they're one of the people that got me into 0-0 space in the first place. So we've just known each other, well, for over half my life. So
Was that
it's
all?
a long time.
All right, well, I can see why you have loyalty towards them. What about charitable donations to players that are down and out in EVE Online, out there in New Eden? Are you accepting applications for non-profits?
Yeah, I've had considered that. The Eve Caravan was one thing that someone mentioned to me, so I have considered looking up some and seeing if I can do some good with it. Because, let's say, it is just a metric amount.
Yeah. No, I don't want ISK. They say Matterall wants your ISK. No, I don't. I want Villy's ISK. I want his.
Bro's got more money than me, dude.
Yeah, but you
4 trillion is a big old pot.
But you know, and this is actually a real point. You can come into a lot of money, which people have for luck or for earning it like this. Mechanics change, whatever. You can come into a lot of money, but if your money isn't like, if your ISK isn't out there doing something, then what's it really doing? It's not like there's interest, you know, you could gain by having it in the bank.
I've just been poked by one of my friends who was there, and he asked me to mention one of the players that was coming for the loot share was actually being interviewed to join the Nullsec Corp. And at the state where he found the blueprints, he wasn't even in the corp.
Wow.
But he was the one that didn't know much about it, and yeah, he was coming back from a long-term break.
Okay. Okay, so it wasn't like a new guy that you didn't know very well.
Well, that's kind of what he's saying it is.
Oh.
Yeah, it was about 2 or 3 days.
Oh, I think he's coming back from a long break. Interesting. Do you think that if he knew what he'd actually picked up, he would have made off with it?
It's a very odd question, that one, because that's the moral dilemma of, would he have done it if he had known what there was? I'd like to think so, but this is Eve.
Right?
I mean, there are people like Matterall who would take it and run.
Totally. I would have executed my whole crew and buried him with the box, made off with the treasure. But that's just me. No, I'm kidding, actually.
It's like, wait. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, backtrack a little bit.
It's a joke. It's a joke. You guys can trust. I just think it's great. What a terrific story. We'll find out all about it this Sunday when you appear on Talking in Stations for the podcast edition with Carneros and Elise, who themselves have adventures in this new world of destroying abandoned structures and finding out there's some amazing treasure inside these things. Thanks, man. It was nice to meet you, Sully. Or
Yeah, it was good to be on here.
or whatever your alt's name is here, this fake name that you threw out on screen for us.
No, that's my one character that doesn't have any transfers, so you can tell it's the true one.
Oh, okay. Cool. By the way, we should say that you're from Razor, right? That's public. So I think you're going to put a
I mean,
meme.
it is now.
Yeah. I think you're going to put a meme to rest where they say, like, where's Razor? I found Razor. I think Razor has the last laugh in this game, now that I think about it.
Yeah, I mean, you could just say that Razor's been in hiding looking for this structure. It's
You say Razor bought an island and is living far away from you guys. No, but it's cool. Razor used to be a great, I shouldn't say used to be, but Razor has a historic name that goes back generations. They contested very well in the Alliance tournament. They were a dominant alliance. They were part of the Northern Coalition, one of the key parts up north for a long time.
I was an FC in Razor back in 2008.
Really?
Yeah.
So you weren't born in Goonswarm?
No.
Yeah, okay. You don't have a little bee tattooed on your bottom, or?
I remember it was FCing with Sensation and that whole crew from Razor, CEI.
Oh. So this has got to make you feel pretty good.
Sure.
Yeah, why not? Well, anyway, it was nice to meet you guys. I think that we're pretty much done for the day, unless there's other news that you guys want to talk about. Anything else? Otherwise, we've had like 2 days of solid discussion on the rolling out of abandoned structures, and we've talked about the changes that are happening to Triglavian invasions, and the changes to the systems that Triglavian invasions are doing. So we've covered that a couple times in the last 2 episodes. If you want more information on those or some discussion, go there. But otherwise,
skill books are now
Okay.
visible in the skill browser in game, even though I don't think any of the skill books have been seeded in game yet. So you can see, if you log in and go to your skill browser, you can see Edencom, Frigate, and Cruiser in the Spatial Command section, and small Vorton projector and Vorton projector operation and medium Vorton projector are also visible in the gunnery section of the skill browser.
oh, wild. Is that a
So
yeah?
the interesting thing is that, in addition to training this small weapon and skill, you need to actually train another skill alongside the small weapon skill that's not the normal gunnery skill. So I guess this is supposed to be a completely different weapon type from turrets and launchers, even though there isn't really as much of a way to implement a completely different weapon type. I guess they're trying to do a third weapon type, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. Where are you seeing this? Is this in patch notes or something, or is this actually?
This is, you log into the game and look at the skill browser.
Oh, we'll check that out, and get a handle on it, and then be able to talk about it. It's catching me by surprise, so I don't know.
Yeah, the interesting thing for me was that seeing that the boosters, that'll be given out that affect both tracking and explosion velocity and radius for it, which sounds like it has a mix of turret and missile damage application mechanics.
All right, cool. We'll look into that. And thanks very much, Gurgoran. Thank you, Sully, for showing up and hanging out. See you Sunday. And Billy, as always, thanks for hanging out. Make it fun. All right, we will see you guys either tomorrow. Tomorrow's an optional day, Saturday, or probably Sunday and then Monday. We'll see you next week. All right, take care. We're going to raid Torvald.
Don't forget to go vote, Philly.
Oh, that's right. Make sure you vote for
Congratulations
CSM.
on being reelected, Village.
Well, hopefully you guys can all go vote.
All right. We will see you tomorrow. Maybe we should have a special election episode tomorrow and make sure everybody votes. Okay, take care, everyone. Bye-bye. Here you go. Here's a raid.